Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 5, and the title, The Nail That Sticks Up. Rock and Marvin navigate a dwindling supply of product, while Lou and Imani scout artists together. Joyce's condition worsens. Famous's mother desperately tries to find him. The nail that sticks up goes back to an old Japanese saying that the nail gets hammered down. Basically, the Japanese refers to the hammer as society, and a nail represents an individual. We are about to get into episode 5's nail and hammer, and there are more than one, so let's get to it. Hello, Power Veterans. I am Lady Vet, and I'll pause for you to subscribe if you haven't already. And put your finger on that like button and share your thoughts in the comments box. Now, in this episode, all eyes are on Famous, Kanan's day one and best friend since the start of school. Now that they are all grown up, Famous has gone as far as possible in the Power universe. Kanan introduced two friends and cousin Jukebox, and now he's left with just cousin Jukebox. Now let me just say, Kanan wasn't always a good friend to Famous, but does that matter now when his friend is found dead? Certainly not to Kanan. Everyone's been looking for and asking about Famous for 4 episodes, and I must admit that's a long time. But the streets needed a body, and that is the 411. Famous's mother reflected on her family's past during the time of no Famous and where's Famous. So when she pressed the police, even they knew how serious she was to find her son. Her thoughts were of Famous's suffering as a kid. His father abused him mentally and physically. They lived in a shelter for a period of time, and his mother keyed in on a time when Famous brought a stray dog home. His logic was his story, one of being out in the world alone with no one to care for him. Famous was picked up from his home by the police, and they wanted him to talk. Even now, his mother is pointed in Kanan's direction. He told her that his friend has deep scars. According to Famous's mother, he was telling the police what they wanted to know. What could this mean? Was Famous a snitch? Doesn't matter, because Detective Garcia wanted Famous's mom to believe that he was on the run from his mouth running of what he did to Freddie. Rock and Marvin discussed their issues with Terry. Since Unique brought chaos to their site, Rock's upset that her product isn't moving and that the police came to tell her that Andre Barnes is dead. Marvin reminded Rock that Andre's work for them was top tier, a real loss for them. That aside, they went to see David and Terry to turn the faucet on and get moving again. Now we know Marvin is going to be Marvin, but Rock impressed upon Marvin that Terry needs some reinforcement, not too much, because they still needed Terry on their team. Marvin, Mr. Triggerman, once again didn't like that Terry was being stubborn, so he unalives the man. Because Terry said that he was done with he and Rock, and he doesn't want to go to prison. But here's the kicker. Terry also threatened to go to the police. Lights out, Terry. Now we already know that Marvin wears many disguises in his work, but he will not get dressed nor attempt to deal with a snitch, not without flinching. Could Marvin have gotten the Famous and his chatty mouth? Mara and Jukebox met up and they talked about Aaron's death and that the police believes that it was a home invasion. But Mara was curious about Jukebox because she asked where he lived. Juke denied. Mara was relieved that he won't put his hands on her anymore. Ironically, Juke came home to Marvin dressing the wound from Aaron after she just talked about Aaron with Mara. He wanted her to talk about what she did. Juke made it clear there are two things. It was Marvin or Aaron going down, and when Marvin wanted to blame Juke's army time for dropping the man with no feelings or remorse, she told him, number two, that the army isn't to blame. This has all come to a head for Jukebox in her life growing up in a drug family and experiencing loss after loss and lying constantly for her Aunt Rock. Another nail is OC. When Kanan wanted to know about any news of the hit on his business, OC mentioned Kanan skimming from Rock. It's kind of hard for OC to keep Kanan informed when he was the Unique's informant. So we don't have to worry about Kanan letting it go because he won't. He's being groomed by Snaps and Pop, and Kanan doesn't want to appear weak, so he is coming for some answers. Now, even though Rock's supply is vulnerable, and Kanan knows this, he is taking off the top and storing a reserve stash in a storage unit. Kanan, being the snake that he is, sooner or later, Rock will be sure that Kanan can't be trusted. And on that note, there is a strong possibility that Kanan will end up on the opposing team, going against his mother and the rest of the family. Olga followed Garcia's advice, and she had a visit with Kanan and Jukebox, where she shared her fears. Kanan had to leave because he had a family emergency, but Kanan promised her that he would get to the bottom of the question of Famous's whereabouts. Now, Joyce suffered a fall, but didn't want Kanan and Jukebox to send her to the hospital. But she was weaker than before, so everyone was notified about Joyce's move. Even Rock was contacted. But Rock's busy losing Quan and trying to transition with Hasif. Hasif recalled telling Rock that he would contact her. But Rock isn't playing checkers, she's playing chess, and she came to see him. He told her that she looks and moves like someone who has been betrayed. Rock has no one to trust but herself, and she knew that. So while at the hospital, Lou, Kanan, and Jukebox heard the doctor say that Joyce was at the place of round-the-clock care. No one opted for the job. Even Marvin made it to the hospital to see his mother. This was heartbreaking. Joyce was so tired of her situation, tired of the pain, tired being weak. She actually asked Marvin to help her sleep for good. Marvin's struggle was touching. After dropping bodies recently, I had to wonder if Marvin considered helping his mom pass. And it was extremely sad listening to her call Marvin, her eldest son, a coward over and over. This attests to what Rock was saying all along, that she called him all kinds of names. Lou and Imani were becoming a team as they recruited talent. Another kid that Lou was interested in had a parent in high places, according to Imani. Now, I actually thought that Lou thought that Famous wasn't really with his thoughts somewhere, and so Lou started putting pieces in place to cover the loss. It seemed that Lou warmed up to Imani at least enough to end up in her bed. But the funny thing was, Imani asked Lou about Jessica, whether or not they were still together. It doesn't seem that important since she wanted to know after hopping in bed with Lou. So why did she really ask the question? Now, Pernessa still doesn't know that Unique is alive, so she confronts Rock and her guilty conscience for killing Unique. But just like Unique, Pernessa's got it all wrong. But when Rock settles down for a minute, she should begin to wonder what's really going on. Clues are dropping all over the place. Terry made her aware that Damon was with another guy. Rock knows that Unique knows Damon. Now Pernessa coming to Rock with a bag of her own money? With Sonny and Richard's death, Quan talking about not trusting Rock, and how messy she is, whereas he's got this certain level of respect for Unique, who's supposedly dead. Quan actually called Unique's name. So, in my opinion, when Rock plays the tape back in her mind, she will connect the dots and learn whether Unique is really dead. It's been a little minute for Unique's supposedly death, but all the recent events are happening one behind the other without explanation in more of a sequence. Who else would furnish a bag to Pernessa? While Unique is still making his rounds to end Rock, he ended up at the doorway of Phil Russo, the New Jersey boss, who stepped in when Baselli stepped off. Unique got to him through Teresa, Baselli's wife, but the talk wasn't easy. Phil told Unique that he had no knowledge of Rock doing what Unique said and that he's got eyes and ears everywhere, so he would have heard about it. Unique was about to fly off the handle until Phil checked him. Phil told him that he needed to build and know how to approach him so he could come back after that homework assignment. Unique knows that Stefano has Rock's back, and the mob boss has got a lot of rules in place to keep their hands clean while someone else muddy the waters. After all, Stefano told Marvin that it's the spirit of things when he roped him in for his dirty work. A war is brewing, and the bosses will be like Baselli, shooting pool, smoking a cigar, and dancing to What a Night. But this time around, there will be no Southside banners being hung. Unique had to leave without getting Phil's muscle to help him, and he made it to his car to have his outbursts and tantrums. But the thing is, Unique's got an inside man in OC and his chatty mouth. He's got Unique thinking whether Kanan is as close to his mother as he thought. OC informed Unique that Kanan was skimming off the top, something that Unique could use, something that Rock will deal with later. The fact is that Rock can't trust Kanan as a business partner or a son. When Unique got himself together, his next stop was Quan. So Unique is crazy serious about bringing Rock down. I must say that before rooting for Unique, I am reminded of Unique ordering a whole crew, in addition to his local guys, to bring Rock down once before. And now, Unique and the Jersey mob isn't just coming for Rock and Stefano alone. It looks like Rock and Stefano will also have an Afghani presence. I don't know that Unique and Russo really want that kind of smoke. There was a tremendous amount of nails and hammers trying to put them down. Society doesn't take kindly to snitches or threatening to snitch. So let's put our eyes back on the Four Seasons. Number one question of Where's Famous? This random kid was shoplifting and about to be caught by the shop owner. He ran, with the shop owner running behind him, when they both ran into a homeless area and saw a body on the ground. Garcia had Olga come in because Famous's ID was on the body. When she saw what she saw, there's nothing left to the Where's Famous question. Now, it's who killed Famous. Kanan will definitely spend all of his time getting some answers. As Mama Olga reflects back, she's got more answers than she can handle right now. Not only does she know that Famous is gone, she also knows that her hands are not clean because this started with her taking a gun from Famous's closet to the police station, not knowing whose blood was on it. In the words of Kanan Stark, you only get one best friend in your life, and mine is dead. That hurt, and gonna stay hurting. Make no mistake about it, this is the last time that we will see Kanan show emotions. It seems that the pain is too much for him to bear. Thus, out of this, Kanan the Beast, that never been no good Kanan, will appear. starting with the next episode. In my opinion, the writers were amazing in connecting the man who raised awareness of how the streets need a body and then moving to the 411. And he has answered both calls. Stay tuned as we begin to dissect the possibilities while on the discovery journey with Kanan and Unique's Big Takedown. Until the next time.